Hello. If this video is appearing on your screen, then it has materialized at the perfect time, just for you. Now, I'm Spencer, and this is the Real TeleVision YouTube channel, and this is basically where I share messages from Spirit regarding the messages that are in our favorite stories, whether that's movies, books, stuff like that, but right now it's only focused on movies, and the one that Spirit has prompted me to watch within the past week has been Emperor's New Groove, which is funny because it's not at all one of my own favorite movies. I know that's pretty, controversial to some people. Like, it's a good movie, don't get me wrong, but it's not my cup of tea personally. And I'm like, really, Spirit, you really want me to watch that? I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. So I watched it, and then this is where we're at now. But yeah, I wanted to share the message I got from that. But before we do that, I am going to go into the good news segment of this channel that I decided to make the norm, essentially, so that we can cultivate a loving community and a community of people that want to learn and help others heal, in addition to healing themselves. And maybe even having some sort of spiritual experience at some point in their life, something like that. Just something that people can feel good about, essentially. But with the good news portion, I want to show you a few things I got this week. So first thing is this wire-wrapped moonstone and quartz necklace I got off of Etsy. I'll link it in the description in case you guys want to check out what they have, because I had it at it was like $10. It had like a sale going on, so it was pretty good. I really liked it. Took a little bit to get here, but that's okay. I'd rather buy from small businesses than big companies, because then they're going to just price it out the wazoo for most people. For something that you can probably do at home, but not that anybody can do this, because a lot of people don't have the patience and, whatever you want to call it, resources for it and all of that. So point being, I just really like Etsy, okay? So second thing is this t-shirt here. You can't see it, but it's got the flamingo and stuff on it. It's the Sleep Token new album, Even in Arcadia. That one's really cool. It's such a good album. I specifically really like Past Self and Emergence specifically. I haven't listened to it a lot, but I've listened to those ones specifically several times. So if somebody was in the room with me and they saw me and heard the song and sat here with me for 30 minutes, it'd be the only song playing, and I'd probably really annoy them, but I don't really care because it's one of my favorite songs. Anyway, the other shirt that I got, and I'm sorry for all the mess in the background, I ran out of hangers to use because apparently I have so many shirts, but I got the Stolas t-shirt from Hell of a Boss. It's one of my favorite animated shows on YouTube, as it is for probably a lot of people. But yeah, there was that, and then let me get the shoes. I got a pair of shoes, because the shoes that I have is just the cheapy ones you get from Walmart that break down so easy. But I got some Vans. They're yellow suede. I wanted something kind of bright and bold, but I know this looks like one of those stupid work boots, but it's not, because this is the closest thing. Even the video doesn't really do it justice. It's actually kind of darker than the video is showing, but that's the shoe I got. I'm so excited because it's going to be a really good pair of shoes that'll last a long time, and I don't have to worry about the inside breaking down. So money well spent. But with that being said, it was just kind of a fun little shopping spree, just to kind of celebrate myself, especially since my birthday's coming up. But that's not the gift that I was going to give myself. But I just really felt called to actually go outside for once, because I like to stay home. I'm a homebody for the most part, unless I really want to get out somewhere, and then I really would just want to take a vacation, which hopefully if the laws change in the next few years, I'd like to go to Epic Universe. So It's just not safe for me to go to Florida or Texas, because I'd love to go to Texas purely because of Six Flags that's there. I just love roller coasters in general, and it's kind of felt like a roller coaster this week. So it's kind of fitting that I've been wanting to go there for one, and yeah, it's just really funny. Anywho, I want to know what your good news is for the week. If you did anything fun, anything crazy happen in a good way, of course. It doesn't have to be a good way, because, you know, I'm trying to build a community where we can help people feel better. If they don't have any good news this week, we can always say, hey, here's the silver lining to your specific situation if somebody wants to help with that. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to share good news, in my opinion. But with that being said, moving on to the message for today. So let me open my little handy dandy journal here. I turned into Blue's Clues there for a second. Anyway, so it's kind of short for today, but I will speak a little bit more if I feel called to, as far as what the message is, and trying to make sure I have the right message being put forward, because sometimes it's a little vague. I apologize for any sound outside I might need to cut if people open my door. But with that being said, the first scene where Cusco looks longingly at the palace after losing Pacha at the restaurant, after Pacha warns him, they're not here to save you, they're here to kill you, blah blah blah. It says, when you feel alone and when the world feels like it never cared about you, remember that your life is sacred. Your value is not dependent on how society treats you. It only matters how you treat yourself at the end of the day. And pausing here, these messages are for me just as much as they are for you guys. So I just want to make that clear as well, if it wasn't clear before. So your value lies in who you are. And pausing again, the sentence here, after rereading it, I had the image of Cusco dancing after saving Pacha from the bridge that collapses. It's almost like saying who you are as a person is to be valued, to be cherished, to be celebrated, if that makes sense. Now, moving on to the next part, your light is precious. Like I said just now, I forgot I even wrote that. Don't let the loudness of this world snuff you out. There must be a balance between arrogance and overwhelm from outside the self. Fill your cup first before anyone else. Prioritize yourself so you can realize how great you are now, rather than wishing others' acceptance. Rather than wishing others' acceptance be granted to you. Sorry, I was trying to read my chicken scratch. But with that section, I instantly had the image of the Ace of Cups card in my head, where it had the cup upright and then the water coming out in 4 different streams. That seemed really specific and important. And again, I apologize for any sound outside. My family is kind of all over the place, and of course they come outside right now. Maybe that's significant for somebody, either dogs or family things happening in your family, and it maybe somebody's making you feel like you're not worth anything, and that's not right, because I completely understand how that feels. For me, personally, it's not overt negativity as to who I am. It's more subtle than that, is one of the better words. But I apologize again with the sound, but I'm so sorry. I did not plan for anybody to be out here while I was trying to record. But it is very important to accept yourself first before you can help anybody else, or find your own happiness. You have to accept every part of yourself and integrate it with shadow work and all of that, and realize that you're not perfect. Of course, nobody really does, unless you have narcissism or something. But with that being said, the next part can be a little bit controversial, I will say. It's the image that popped into my head, and it was very deliberate, it was very clear in my mind, I want to say. It was an image of the Christian cross, and then immediately showing like a flashing X, a flashing red X on it, which is weird because I would never go this direction myself. I'm too, what is it called? Controversial? It's not controversial. The word is not controversial that I'm looking for. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. I don't remember what the word is, but I guess controversial might work. But the message I got from that is, it doesn't matter what Christians today say, you are magic, light, and source, no matter where you come from or who you are, especially those watching right now. And they really wanted me to put that sentence in there. I'm like, really? You want me to put that? That seems like something I would put myself, but I would not put information in there that Spirit doesn't want me to. So it's especially poignant for those watching to understand that, because these messages are meant for people who feel ostracized, or those seeking truth, or wishing that there were other people that they could find that want the world to be better than it is, if that makes sense. But yeah, moving on to the next thing here. You are seekers of truth, like I said. Your soul knows there is more to life than what you've been spoon-fed. And that was a key word specifically. Spirit had me underline that. And that might resonate with some people. You are made of love. Your softness is meant to be the norm. You're meant to be this way, so you show the world how to care in a world that teaches you not to. Times may be unbalanced now, but empires fall and rise, and I wanted to kind of talk about that sentence, because usually it's empires rise and fall, in my opinion. Usually the way that people say it is the reverse of what I put here, and I found that very interesting. Oh, my nose itches on the inside. Okay, fixing my septum here. Yeah, it's just kind of fascinating how Spirit had me word that. And the quote, "It begins and ends with us," unquote, which is the lyrics to the song at the end of the movie where Cusco's swimming with Pacha and his family and all that on the hillside next to their hill. So I apologize for the noise outside again. And everything will shift for the better, it says. Hearts are softening, slowly, fiercely, motivated by love of the self and others. But it starts within. Quote, "Nothing changes if nothing changes," unquote. That's the saying that they put in my mind when I said that, or when I channeled that, essentially. Now, the thing here is that is totally true. That if you don't change anything in your life, like let's say you're trying to lose weight like I am, you can't expect anything to change unless you start making changes in your diet, for one, because a lot of changes in the body happen with the diet, which is 80% the diet and 20% in the gym. So like, I'm trying to get back on the bandwagon to lose the weight again. It's going to be my third time trying to get this weight off. So at least keeping it permanent this time. But nothing is bad about my body now because I've accepted where I'm at. But at the same time, I know that it's going to be healthier for me to lose the weight. And like I said, I have to start making changes here and there, like not drinking soda as much, or if at all, if I want to at some point. But making those small incremental changes, I don't know if I slurred there, but I swear I'm a little stressed out because I wasn't planning on anybody being outside. So it's fine. I'm doing the best I can. Plus I'm not used to the camera still, so I'm still trying to get over the anxiety of that. So with that being said, I hope you get what I was trying to put down there. of just making small changes to whatever it is that you're struggling with or trying to improve about yourself, stuff like that. Just make a small plan in your head, like, hey, I'm going to try to do this when X thing happens. Either so many times or just whatever the steps are that end up being the way to your goal. And that can be a personal level and a state level, country level, world level. That can be on all levels, including political. So with that being said, the next scene that came to mind was Kronk speaking to the squirrel, and Yzma being so upset and just irritated that she has to deal with somebody who is so not who she thought would just be a yes man, essentially. So with that being said, everyone has their own talents and interests for a reason. They will lead you to where it is you need to go. Follow them. Exhaust them. And then with that being said, the song that's called Dead or Alive by Riles, I think that's how you say it. It's got like a little asterisk above the E. The song Dead or Alive, the lyrics that says free me at the end came up specifically. Like I heard it in my head, that part. So I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, that must be relevant. So I highly suggest that you go to listen to that, pause the video and go listen to it and then come back, because you might get some insights for it for yourself. And with that being said, squirrels might be important for someone. I'm not sure why, but they're adorable little critters for sure. Now, the last part of this message is, even if you don't think they are good passions, and I'll pause right there just before we finish the message here. I wasn't sure what was meant by that, so I sat there with it and thought, like, what does that mean? As far as talents that aren't good passions. And that can be subjective in my mind. So I immediately thought of, like, let's say someone is into making Lego things out of Legos or something, like those big old sculptures that you see at like Legoland or something, or like the Disney downtown area in California and Florida. Some people think that that is not a useful talent, but talents don't have to be useful. They just have to be something that you enjoy to be a talent. And there are going to be people that will think that your talent is useless, and unfortunately you just have to ignore them. Everybody's talent is useful in some way, because if things weren't meant to be used, or our minds weren't able to think outside the box, I don't think that that would be something that would be a talent in the first place, if you know what I mean. But really, if you do that, it's a form of art. It's just another medium, in my opinion. So with that being said, don't let anybody dull your shine when it comes to what you like to spend your time doing. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. The last few sentences here, it says, you don't need to be good at something completely in order to change your life, much less because the world told you it had to be that way. Like I said, I was just talking about that. So don't let people feel like your talent isn't important, because if you think about it, everybody's talent that became known for something, especially if it was like a trailblazer talent that hadn't been done before, has gone down in history as someone who changed the world. Like the light bulb. Before, they were using like light, like candles and oil lamps. So it's changed our lives forever. Nearly every single household in the world has that now. So, excuse me. Somebody's talent was science. There's a hair in front of my face. Sorry. But maybe, with that being said, somebody's hair might be important. Maybe somebody's trying to like become a hairdresser and somebody in their family maybe thinks it's stupid or whatever because it's not useful. I don't know. But just take it with a grain of salt. I'm just thinking outside the box of different little signs that might be important to somebody watching. But with that being said, that is the message that is fairly short and sweet, you know, to the point. But with that being said, I wanted to kind of close out this video with the usual self insert as somebody who wants to be an author at some point in their life, because I've recently rediscovered that dream of mine in my childhood. I've written since I was a kid, and I'm writing a book on my spiritual journey as an LGBT person and how that might be able to help others. And it's going to be called by the same thing this channel is called, except it's going to be Real Television with one foot in reality, because that's kind of how it feels. But it's going to have like the same, you know, space feel like my channel does. If you look at the banner on the channel front, you'll see like this little computer screen that has the word TV on it, and then it's got like a little white dragon over here, and it's got like the big cosmic background. That's what I was going to do with it, and I was going to put like the tip of Mount Everest at the bottom, and it's going to be a whole thing. So it's all part of how I explain how this works for people who might be interested and don't know where to start with spirituality and or just self-help in general, because it doesn't have to be looked at that way. I'm trying to do it in a way that most people can understand, kind of bridging from mundane to the spiritual side of things, if that makes sense. So look out for that. And by subscribing and liking the video and sharing the video for others to receive this message, that might get it to people who need it. It's going to then supplement making this book for people. I'm going to try to get it published with a regular publisher, but if I can't do that, then I'll probably just do self-publishing at that point. But I also have some other books in the works, specifically the one that I call Nova Aren. It's a Nova Aren series. That's the main character's name. It's a 3-book trilogy that is already all planned out. I'm just writing it. So if you want a sci-fi book that kind of breaks barriers and isn't necessarily one single genre, we can definitely do something like that. And like I said, if you subscribe and share the video, it helps kind of support that dream to do that, in addition to getting a good message out to people who need it. So with that being said, keep your minds and your hearts open. Peace.